Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's May 12th, 2024. We had some rains last night. We've had rains every day for a few days. Then we had a sunny day before that, and then some more rain before that. So I'm working in between everything. Been really busy mowing every day, a couple of hours mowing every day, and an hour to 2 hours of weed whacking every day. I'm not sure, it's hard unless you look at some of the drone video areas and all. It's hard to appreciate all of the things that have got to be done. I wanted to address one of the questions I got recently about dense agroforestry, regenerative agroforestry. And I am certainly a big believer in that method, and we've used that sort of technique here in the past. And as you look through each one of our food forest and then some of our Zone 5 forest videos that we posted, I've gone over this topic in the past, but we live in a very high wind zone. We live in a high snow zone. And we have some invasive species like the grapevines, the wild grapevines that are here that really encompass multiple trees. One vine will encompass multiple trees. And with the snow and ice storms that we have and the high winds, the closely or more densely that the trees are planted, especially if you have an invasive species like the emerald ash boring insect that took out so many, thousands of our ash trees here. When those trees go down, they do damage to trees next to them. However, I am a big proponent of any form of regenerative forestry, whether it's very dense as well, but it's got to be applied in the appropriate locations. And we're at the phase now where we are trying to thin out the areas. So we had lots of red butt, locust trees. Those are the two that were nitrogen fixing trees that we had interspace in between each one of our trees. Now we still have some of them, but we really taken out most of them over time. And I have more to take out over the next couple of weeks. And next year I'll take out probably another couple dozen. And we think that the nitrogen fixers or the rapid pioneering trees that really help to transform poor soil into good soil, that we can plant other more beneficial trees in the future. That's all really, really good doing. And when the trees were smaller and I had more hours in the day, in other words, I could get more accomplished each day, I would go out and do the coppicing or pollarding of the trees and chop and drop, as we say in the permaculture nomenclature. So those are all things that I would do regularly. But as I've gotten older and my health isn't as great as it was, and we've got two different businesses we're running, it's one of those things that I'm always thinking about what's taking me the most amount of time. What equipment could I use? What products and what procedures can we eliminate and maximize the benefits of the time that we spend out here? So those are the things. It's like if there's an item, a product that doesn't have as many beneficial factors to it, and a process that we go through to manage that product, we want to eliminate those, because the net benefits of having those components and those procedures does not justify the time and energy and finances put into it. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of my business way of looking at things. So certainly dense regenerative agroforestry or regenerative farming, I think, are absolutely fantastic. It can be done in a multitude of ways: alley cropping, permaculture, all sorts of different ways that one can accomplish the transition and reestablishing whatever sort of ecosystem that you want to have on the properties. So that's awesome. So one of the things I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about a tool that I do use that I really like a lot. And but I'm down here, so Pond 7's over there. The equipment's stored out there right now. solar panels. There's another rack behind that. The sugar shack. So you know about where we are. This is pond 6 right here. This is the one that goes dry each season. But last year we planted some ornamental grasses along this border here, and we did some wild bergamot planting, and I can't remember what else we planted here. So the grasses, I'm behind here. So we've got the cleavers coming up in amongst the grasses, which are, you know, a lot of people harvest these, and these are a benefit. People actually harvest the mugwort as well. It's a medicinal plant. I look at it as a very noxious weed, but if you need calming, that's pretty good. So this is wild bergamot coming up right in here, so I don't want to bother that. And we have the ornamental, you know, I can't remember if the wild bergamot is closely related to the bee balm, but we have bee balm in here as well. So I'm going to not weed whack. I'm going to use the a shear to go ahead and cut off the tops of these grasses and hit some of the places where I see the mugwort. Let's see. So here's the spot here where the mugwort is just taken off a little bit too much. There's some more wild bergamot there. The mugwort here. One of the things is that they're sorry, trying to get the camera here. So the root is the roots of the mugwort. They are almost like a spider web in a sense. Their root shoots that go out branch, and they shoot up new shoots, new suckers, and they create such a mesh that it will starve out the other plants around it and all. So it's one of those things, if you had a spot and you wanted to do medicinal work with mugwort, I'd keep it isolated to a very small area, because it will overtake maybe an area that's a little circular or some shape where you can mow around it and keep it from invading out into other areas. But with all our bird species here, all of our plants get distributed all over the property. So what's the tool I'm going to use? It's one of my EGO tools, and I've gone over. I've got the EGO chainsaw, the 18-inch chainsaw. I've got which I love. I have the power station. I have the carbon fiber Weed Wacker, absolutely fantastic. And then I have the multi EGO tool too, that has the what does it have? It has multiple. It has a pole saw on it, and I'll probably show that pretty soon. But I'll show you this here. This is quite a nice unit. It's a really, really nice hand trimmer. Let me take off the guard here. And it uses the 56-volt battery that I've done videos on. I really love their battery technology, and it works great. So that'll make short work of going down here. But there's all the other things, like on the other side of this pond, you see we have the invasive multiflora rose over there that's coming up there. And the birds love those plants. But they get so big. I have them that are, you know, 20, 22 feet tall, and they send all the branches down, and they'll just wipe you out when you're walking by them. So I've got to deal with that little side of the pond there eventually as well, do something like this. And so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and use the hedge trimmer and go down here, and you'll see that real quick. wild garlic mustard here. That's a nice medicinal plant. So here we have all this small amounts of wild bergamot here, and we have the mugweed all over. There's, well, a nice example of the native mustard, garlic mustard. A little bindweed. So the EGO hedge trimmer works extremely well. Pretty happy with that. I don't use it all that often. It seems like just I've got in the springtime, I've got to do around the ponds, all the ornamental grasses. And there's times where I've got to work my way into areas, but a lot of the times I'll use something heavier. But this is where the Weed Wacker won't work, or I'm doing ornamental grasses, that sort of thing. And before we get to the point where it's so dense that I have to use, you know, pruning shears or a blade in order to cut down the material. So I'll put a link, an Amazon affiliate link, in the description below. I think it's really nice. I like it a lot. The battery technology of the EGO products has been fantastic. I had one battery that went bad. They replaced it with my Weed Wacker. I had a problem where it wasn't self-feeding, and I think I made a video about that, the Weed Wacker, which is an absolutely fantastic tool, the lightest Weed Wacker out there. Do I wish the pole was longer so I wasn't hunched over? Yes, and I'll put a link to that one as well. But I did have to take it in for repair one time, and what it was some of the string from our weed mats. The little like nylon plastic threads that they weave to make the weed mats actually got caught up underneath the part that I clean out all the time. So you could take it apart and clean it out. Well, I didn't go deep enough. There's one more layer where that thread from the black weed mat actually got tied up around it and really restricted the motor that self-feeds the twine back up onto the Weed Wacker, so you don't have to take off the head. You just feed the weed whacking cord halfway through the head, and then hit a button, and it self-feeds itself. So I really like that feature as well. The carbon fiber is awesome. So I'm gonna go get some work done. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And by all means, folks, stay safe and take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye now.